just the...
We're watching this at your house, right?
You got it. We can't. Actually, I'll tell you what I like to do. There's a gas station that has water hoses for big trucks.
Oh, there you go.
I like, when I get about 60 pounds of clay on this bad boy, I like to take it there and wash it off before I go home.
There you go. We need to find a place where, or maybe make it, where you have a 4-post lift and you can put it up and pressure wash underneath.
That would be cool. And I would love to get a lift. I would love to get a lift. It's so much easier to work on a vehicle when you're not laying on your back.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so much. You can get, like, you're standing and you've got more leverage. So anyway, these are little campsites here.
Sweet.
I'll turn it around. You can stay right on the water, in fact. But $10 a night. Well, if you start a fire, you can run the mosquitoes off. $10 a night. So my man Chris is going to show what a Land Cruiser 80 can do. Nothing major. He's just going to get up on this stump. And then we're going to do a walkthrough of his vehicle.
So we were talking about earlier about radius arms and about flex. So if you notice here, the truck is not stuffing that left front tire very high in the fender well.
Right.
Because the radius arms, I don't know if you can get up in here, but you can see where the radius arms are contacting the bracket. Here, I'll take the camera from you. So these are stock factory radius arms. You can see how they're twisted up in there, and they're actually not contacting, but they're close.
They're close. So what is it that you can do to change that situation?
Well, so the Australians with, I forget that company, engineered something. Advanced engineering.
Mm-hmm.
They essentially move the bushings closer, or you can make the radius arm skinnier.
Here, why don't you... And so you were just saying that company in Australia, we'll put them in the description or whatever, they make those extensions.
Them and Delta, I think, are the best.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so, again, what does it do, though? So it just gives you more room before you make contact?
It allows the bushing, to the Australian ones, the advanced, I think they're advanced engineering, they allow more deflection in the bushing. So
I got you.
The bushings don't actually contact the axle in the same spot, or at least in the Hyperflex arm. The rear bushing, I think, is the same. The front bushing is just a bracket at that point. And then they put another bushing on top of it.
I got you.
And they're a lot closer together, allows them more deflection. The engineer, or the idea behind the Delta vehicle system ones, is that radius arm is a lot skinnier. So you got a lot more travel before it contacts the side of the bracket.
I got you.
So 80 series don't have a ton of flex in the front, more than an IFS truck.
Okay.
More than an FJ Cruiser.
Yeah. Ah, that's funny. That's funny.
But anyway, if this had a lot more flex, this tire would be up further in the fender, and then we wouldn't need quite as much flex in the rear in this type of deal. But IFS trucks, like FJ Cruiser, 4Runner, Land Cruiser, you still need to retain that solid axle in the rear so that you at least have 3 points of contact all the time. So if you are going at Moab and you pick a tire up in the front, you have to have a tire in the front, and then you have to have 2 tires in the rear contacting at all times to keep it safe. So you have to have a solid axle in the rear.
Makes sense.
Now, Discovery, I don't know if you are, or not Discovery, sorry, Defender, new Defender.
Yeah.
Has.
I got mixed feelings about that thing.
So the cool thing about it is independent can be just as good as a solid axle, but like let's say this right here is an independent front.
Okay.
So right now, this solid beam, because it's a solid axle, is pushing the other tire down. This tire is going up. Well, if this was independent, they're not, both tires are not connected.
Right.
So we would be relying on just vehicle weight to push this tire into this fender, right?
Right.
How much vehicle weight do you think's over this tire right now?
Not that much.
Not that much.
Not that much at all.
It's shifted all the way over on the right
Right.
side.
Right.
So if this was an independent vehicle here, we would have almost no flex here, and then it would all have to be made up in the rear. So that we maintain 3 points of contact.
I got you. That's interesting.
So in the Defender,
yes.
come full swing in the Defender, they use a ballast system. So you can have independent, that's fine, but when you're going off-road and you want articulation, you can ballast it. So you can make it act like a solid axle. Whereas
so wait, what is the ballast? Is it like a fluid moving around?
It's air, I think. Yeah.
Air.
So what we would do is decrease the pressure in this bag, increase the pressure in the other bag.
And it does it automatically.
It does it automatically.
That is ingenious.
So that would give it the articulation you need and make it safe, but still be able to run independent suspension for all the other on-road stuff. Which you can do, and people have done it a lot in the past as well. Like there's a YouTube video out there, I think it's called 502 Jeep something or other. It was a JK, but he put independent suspension on it and it was hydraulic. He had a joystick. So when he was driving, he could move the body. So if you're on like the side of a hill, he could rock it over, make the suspension shorter on the left, make it taller on the right, so that if you're driving along the side of a hill, the body would be
That is amazing.
So you can do,
and it doesn't seem that complicated, does it?
No, and I think as we continue to advance in off-road technology, you're going to see more of that, where it's going to be independent. We're definitely not going back to solid axle.
No. Why do you say that? Independent, safer.
Yeah, there's safety issues.
Yeah.
And weight, a lot of it too. But we're just not going back to solid axle. It's just not going to happen. But you're going to see more companies like Land Rover come on and have solid axle characteristics that are built into independent suspension. So
the thing that I love about solid axles though is, I mean, if you look under there, that's like a tank, man. Yeah. If you hit a tree limb, or you know, you're going through that water we went through earlier, and something pops up, you break it. You don't break your little tiny skinny arm that's coming out of the, you know what I'm saying?
That is true. However, to play on the independent side, so the independent have to get some love too. They have more ground clearance. So if we're looking at a car with the same size tires, because the differential's up in the body, and that's what made the Hummer famous, right? Yeah. Because it wasn't very tall, but had millions of feet of ground clearance. So technically, or definitely, independent cars have better ground clearance. It had a great center of gravity too because of that. So, and honestly, you can take care of some of that concern with skid plates and protection and stuff like that, can't you? Oh, you always wear protection. I mean, use protection. I'm talking about for the vehicle. Oh, sorry. I'm talking about for the vehicle. But you could. I mean, there's all kind of options to protect that gear. We got sliders. And, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you can take care of that. The axle's pretty beefy, but if you've seen guys that are running like the Rubicon Trail or doing King of the Hammers and using toy axles, you use gusseting and bracing to reinforce the axle housing. Or they even have aftermarket axle housings that are stronger. All right, so so do you think that companies like Jeep will quit making solid axle options? Like you can get a solid axle in a Rubicon, you can get a solid axle in the Dodge in like the Power Wagon or the Tradesman. Jeep, and Chrysler. It's not FCA anymore. Okay. So because it was Fiat Chrysler, now I guess it's Stella Antis. I'm probably pronouncing. Are they still connected to Mercedes-Benz or no? No, Daimler's out. They're out completely. They're out. Okay. So now they merged with Peugeot. French or Renault. I can't remember. No, French. Renault is Nissan. I think they merged with Peugeot. Do they still make those in other countries? Oh yeah. They used to sell them here at one point. Okay. Yep. So they're big European cars. Anyway, so they're now not FCA. They're all Stella Antis. Whatever. So the Jeep may keep it because of its nichiness. Like to be fair to the Jeep, okay, I think it is the most capable stock vehicle you can buy from the dealer and off the shelf. If you get not the Sport though. You're talking about the one with the Rubicon would be the best because it's got center locking, it's got diffs, it's triple locked, right? And you can disconnect the sway bar. I don't think it's triple locked because it's a part-time. Okay. It doesn't need a center diff lock. You don't need it. So you got front and rear differentials, locking differentials, and you can disconnect the sway bar with the click of a button, which we've talked about that before. That is kind of problematic. It fails sometimes. It's like a sleeve or something. Chrysler's had a problem with that. But still, I mean, anything like that has a potential to fail. Just like the Land. I mean, it's a lot nicer than when I have to do this. I got to go, and to be fair to this suspension travel, I did not disconnect the sway bar. I do have sway bar disconnect links, but I did not disconnect. Whose do you have?
What pro?
Land Cruiser products.
Land Cruiser Phil?
Land Cruiser Phil.
Yeah, he's awesome. And there's it looks simple too, the concept for that.
It's not hard.
It's not hard at all. It takes a few minutes, and you just got to get on your back. Have you driven, what's the fastest you've driven when that thing disconnected? Or you don't have it yet?
30. No, it's on right now.
30, and that's about as much as you're going to get. What happens?
So much body travel. Okay, let me just have a shout out for you guys at First Coast Toyotas. When I go to these car meets and I hear all you guys talking about disconnecting your sway bars, that's got to be the dumbest thing. Sorry, pardon my language. You're taking your life and other people's life on their own.
They leave it disconnected all the time?
They take it off. They're like, well, I didn't notice any difference going down the road. Okay, you're not going to notice the difference on daily driving. If you have to make a high-speed maneuver, you're going to die potentially.
And kill somebody else.
You could.
Is there any rules against that? Road rules? I mean,
it depends on the state.
Yeah.
Most states, that's illegal.
Okay,
yeah.
So First Coast Toyotas, again, this
Do
is...
not take your sway bar off.
Chris...
If anyone tells you... Don't listen to any off-road advice they have. Don't take it off. Yes, you get greater suspension travel, but it's just
So what you need to do is figure out a way you can disconnect it when needed.
Yes.
And reconnect it. And I'm sure there's options out there for any vehicle.
But let's be real. If you're in Florida, do you really need a disconnecting sway bar?
I mean, I've seen some videos, like if you go to that Hard Rock place down around, or Citrus. But other than that,
most of the time, no.
There's some places probably out in the Panhandle around Tallahassee where it's hilly. But here in Florida,
look at this 80, like this doesn't have a ton of travel, but this is
that's plenty.
This is a good amount, and this is with the sway bar still connected.
Yeah, but if you got into a situation where you had some off-camber stuff in the back, you'd have a wheel off the ground right now.
Sure, and if we were in Moab, I would have got down and disconnected it.
Okay, gotcha. Just for the heck of it.
And if we were going to be on a long trip where we're doing like 15 miles an hour or less, and we're in the rocks, it would be disconnected the whole week.
I got you.
But we're on city roads, and it's muddy under there.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, there's no need. There's no need.
All right, we got Gimpy here.
Yeah, so Chris, thanks for picking me up and bringing me out to the woods because I've been cooped up in the house. And Mrs. King Overland is going to take me for a ride sometime. But all right, so we only brought one SD card with us, and we got like 13 minutes left. And I do want to do a brief walk around. So tell me just about what you got on the outside. I know you've done a few things recently. Tell me about the bumper, the bars, skid plates, whatever else you got.
So the bumper is a real early ARB. Like we're talking early 90s. So if you look on all 80 series ARBs, they've got an extra bracing here that this doesn't have.
Okay.
And then also, if you notice, the lenses aren't punched. It's like pre-chiseled, but where the indicators are, they're not punched out.
Do the newer ARBs protect that little, what is that, the AC piece down there, or whatever that is?
That, and I think it adds just a little bit more rigidity to the bumper.
Yeah.
This one's real early. So this truck, I believe, was built by a company out of Grand Junction, Colorado called Safari Ltd.
Okay.
And it was one of their like main trucks. So it had a supercharger, it had an auxiliary fuel tank, it had a bunch of stuff, and then it was actually parted out at one point and sat in a field. And then I've kind of brought it back, and the only pieces that are original. The engine
was still in there.
Yeah, engine's the same.
For how long?
Years.
And then you got it.
It has remnants of mice in it.
And so when you got it, what did you have to do to get the engine running?
Oh no, it already ran. So okay. I bought it from a buddy of mine, actually a previous instructor of mine. And he bought it from another guy who he did all that getting it running. It was hodgepodge crap. It was shade tree mechanics type stuff, but it was running when I bought it. In fact, when he bought it, the truck was black, and the original color is green.
Wow. And
now it's white.
That's funny. So what's the deal with the winch business? It looks like there's something got added here. I mean, you got two different places you could put the winch, or do those supports get welded on?
No, that's just for a license plate.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the top one was just for a plate.
Well, it looks like the gap's big enough for like a Fairlead or something to attach to.
I think they just pulled metal out and make it a little lighter.
I got you. All right, so what about your I can't even think of what to call them. The bars
rock sliders?
Yeah, rock sliders.
They are white knuckle off-road.
You haven't had those for long, have you?
No, just for a little bit. It had some steps on it before, but they were all sorts of twisted. I think it was made out of like galvanized fence posts. But white knuckle, phenomenal. These are DOM. These are the full length without the fender flares and without the mud flaps, and that's the longest you can get. I forget how long it is. And then this is the 10 degree. So for when I have to take gimps around like you that need steps to get in the car, the 10 degree makes it a lot easier to get in.
It was helpful.
They tried to sell me on the diamond plate top piece, but I opted for the naked version because of the mud. Like one thing I noticed with those steps is going through mud in Florida, it just becomes like a shovel. And you get out and it's like inches and inches of mud. So I opted without it.
That makes sense. And I mean, honestly, maybe this would be stupid, but I might put some little spots of grip on them.
Yeah, my wife's complained about that. She says, she tells me every time we go to church and she wears heels, she's like, I almost killed myself today. You need to do something.
I love it. Well, you make her ride it to church in the...
Oh, she drives it. This is our family vehicle, actually. So we just sold her car and we're in the process of buying a van. But for right now, if we need to take the whole family, it's cruiser time.
What's the suspension you got? And let's kind of move to the back.
Okay, so suspension is Old Man Emu. The springs in the front are original to when Safari LTT did them. The springs in the back have been changed because of the rear bumper. So it's the 2.5-inch Old Man Emu.
That's what I've got.
But they weren't heavy enough for the bumper. So when I put the bumper on, going out in the sand dunes over at Amelia, it would bottom out. I hit the bump stop.
Did you look like you were doing the Phantom trailer look that all the kids do now?
Yes.
I hate that.
So yeah, the honky donk squat.
Yeah, whatever it is.
So anyway, I upgraded to, if you look on ARB's website, the Old Man Emu, this is the second heavy rated spring. I feel like it's like 600 kilogram, and I don't know what that is in pounds. I don't even know what a kilogram is, actually.
Honestly, I wish that's one thing that I wish we did here, because the math is so much easier.
It is.
It's so much easier, man.
I mean, we won't give you guys too much credit, but we'll give you that.
Well, I mean, I think Americans invented it, but we didn't adopt it.
I mean, we invented everything, right?
Okay, that's enough. All right, so what is the brand of the bumper?
That is a 4x4 Labs bumper, and we were talking about cutting the frame as well. If you notice here, the departure angle is crazy. So we've got, it's really close to the body, as you can see, and that increases off-road departure angle or whatever. So,
and I like how it's got the little bar built into it,
And if you notice in the front, I'm maybe I think a full inch lower in the front, and then I also have the road safe recovery points, which shout out to Road Safe from Australia.
Oh yeah, you gave me a set of those and I still haven't put them on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to cut my bumper.
And for whatever reason in the US, rated recovery points have not caught on yet, but they are an absolute must.
You see people online using those tow hooks to snatch somebody out of the mud,
or like a receiver ball.
Oh my God,
it's the most dangerous shit.
Now I have pulled someone with a receiver ball, but I've never snatched.
Never. No.
In fact, Ronny Dahl makes a video which he kind of went over the top. Have you seen it? Oh, you got to look it up. He talks about the dangers of winches, using a ball, everything. You got to check it out. And there's tons of videos online where it's happened. And there's one video, and I didn't even finish watching it because the dude died. But the ball went through the back glass. No, it went through the front glass of the vehicle in front of the ball came off, went through the front glass and hit the dude in the head. He was gone.
Yeah.
Let's walk around the other side. Or maybe just get a good view of the back.
So finish up on that thought though. It's lower in the front, and if I can clear it in the front with how much clearance I have in the rear, it's no problem. So that's part of what I wanted. I wanted a lot more departure angle in the rear. If it went over the front, it's going over the rear. No dragging receiver in the rear.
So tell me about your tag, or do you want to put that on?
Yeah, I can put the tag on there. That's fine. I mean, it's public.
So what's the deal with that?
So I am an amateur radio operator. So for those of you guys who use CB, and for the Australian guys who use UHF CB.
Okay. Is it still CB, UHF?
It is, but it's a different band.
Okay. So it's still my ham.
In the US, CB is an HF band. Okay. In Australia, theirs is a UHF band, which UHF is way better than HF for vehicle communications. Okay. But I mean, for anyone who's rocking those radios, you need to pony up, get your license.
That's cool.
So there's a lot. It opens up way more communication options.
Is the UHF that they talk about in Australia, is that available here?
No, it is.
It's illegal.
It's illegal. Yep. So it's regulated by the FCC. Different countries.
Is it because the military uses it or something, or is it like a private band?
A part of it could be the ham radio band that we use here. Part of it could be commercial band. It's just we've used those channels for other band allocations.
Do people have them anyway, though?
Not that I know of.
I mean, okay, I'm just curious about that.
I mean, people use GMRS and walkie-talkies, and a lot of that is probably crossover from their stuff. But
like I've got some military grade Motorola walkie-talkies, and other people that have, just like walkie-talkies you can buy at Walmart, they don't jive.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what they work on, but they're awesome.
I wouldn't admit that online.
A 10-mile. I'm serious. I could talk to you across this lake on them.
All right. So this is for the FCC. Nathan King here is breaking the law.
I bought them. They sell them in America. They're awesome. Honestly, we were using them at work, and we got military grade equipment because people drop them and stuff like that. And once I saw them, I'm like, I got to get some of these. So I ordered 3 of them for myself. Anyway. And they're great if you go out with somebody and you want to talk.
Sure.
You know, but you've got the. I don't even have a CB. You've got the radio.
Well, so the ham radio here, I've made a 993 mile contact with my radio.
Is it bouncing? It's bouncing through other points or something?
Yes, through digipeaters. So it was a two bounce. So it bounced in Louisiana and then made another bounce in San Antonio, Texas.
That's really cool. And people talk across the world doing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goes up through the stratosphere.
Hey, I lost my little thing on this last trail. It was there before we started.
What was it?
The little
crap.
cover.
Do you want to go back and look?
No. I needed to get a new one anyway.
Land Cruiser Junction. He's your man. Call Dio.
Dude, these things break all the time. Oh well, she's gone. It gets more character now.
Have you gotten anything from that guy?
No, I've talked to him a few times though.
He's a pretty cool dude. He'll talk to you. And honestly, if anybody in the area, he's in Gainesville, Florida.
I can't believe he sold his 55.
His pig.
Yeah, his pig.
But anyway, is he building another one though?
I have no idea.
He took that thing all across the country. But if I'm not mistaken, the pig that he has, it's the pig body on an 80 series chassis
with a
running gear
with a 2UZ,
which is what, a Tundra engine?
Well, or Land Cruiser 100.
Land Cruiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Land Cruiser 100.
anyway, but I think what he's told me about that was pretty smart. He says, and the reason he did that with that engine is
you got 12 seconds.
Thousands of them out there, and if it broke down in the middle of nowhere, he could go somewhere and get parts for it. Anyway,
we're gonna have to go get a battery or a SD card. We'll see you in like 20 minutes.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I upgraded the rear